We are like clay, static, unrecognizable, nothing. A formless mass with no direction, no purpose, no meaning. We are like clay, pliable, movable, moldable. In the hands of the Creator, we can be changed, made beautiful, given life. Nothing becomes something extraordinary. The transformation takes time. The process is tedious, difficult, painstaking. But soon, we see the beginnings of something wonderful. The formless takes shape. The unrecognizable finds its identity. The meaningless is given purpose. From nothing comes beauty. We are like clay, each piece different than the next, given unlimited potential in the hands of the potter.
That video shows that we are a ton of clay. It was my life, I don't know about you, but my life was just the same like that clay. It was a total mess. It was full of dirt and static, it's motionless, it's just plain and nothing. Just going with the flow of life, where life, whatever life will bring, comes my way, or go with the flow. There's no meaning, there's no direction, there's no purpose. When we had a camping a couple of weeks ago, one of our friends invited someone who was my co-worker before in the Philippines. And we had that camping, and then we're talking about it, and they were so surprised. Hey, you're a pastor already? It's like, you know what? I still remember Jeff, when we were playing basketball, we don't want to play with him because the basketball will not end. I always get a technical foul. I always punch my opponent. No, not really punch, but if you're everybody knows it, like, yung magulang, sasalurin, and then hit them with the face or whatever. And that was my reputation before. I was so messy. And you heard my stories already when my wife almost divorced me because she caught me many times being unfaithful to her. It was a mess. I was like that clay. But when I surrendered my life to Jesus in the hands of the Almighty, the Potter, that dirty, messy clay became an extraordinary life all by His faith. It was not an easy process. There are the ups and downs along the way, but I could say it was worth it. There are testings, there are difficulties. The Potter gave beauty, meaning, and purpose to that dirty clay. And it's all by His grace that I am standing here before you today, because I surrendered my life to the Potter's hands. Prophet Isaiah said in his book, it says, "You, Lord, are our Father. We are nothing but clay, mud, dirt, but you are the Potter who molded us." For some of you today, this is so true. We, you, us, are nothing but clay. But you could also testify that when you started following Jesus, every day was an extraordinary experience with Him. In the midst of storm, of life, you have peace. Right? In the midst of problems and difficulties, you have joy. In the midst of uncertainties, you have hope. That's something special. That itself is an extraordinary experience with Jesus. What is only required from us is to surrender our life, the clay, the dirty clay, into the hands of the Potter, so that He can mold us to be the kind of person He wanted us to be. For some of you who are just starting following Jesus, who are just starting following Jesus today, who are just rediscovering, you have left the faith before and then you are starting to rediscover who Jesus is. you can testify also that there are gradual changes in your life today, right? The way you think, the way you talk, it changes over time. You feel some sort of security, some sort of identity, growing contentment in you. There's love, there's joy, there's peace, and all other things that you experience. And extraordinary experiences. For some of you who probably didn't notice yet the changes in you, you're not noticing any changes in you, hang on there. As you follow Jesus, you will experience an extraordinary life. What we're going to talk this afternoon is something that will help you find an extraordinary experience that will lead to an extraordinary life. We will study the life of Zacchaeus. And many of you already heard about this famous, most loved and the most famous story in the Bible during your Sunday school years, right? Yes. Probably you heard about this little guy, little man, right? Or you probably sing the song about Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus was a wee little man, a wee little man was he. Remember that? Yes. For he climbed a sycamore tree for the Lord he wanted to see. You don't know that. I think that's the year of Kuya Orlando. And as the Savior came that way, he looked up at the tree. Jesus said, Zacchaeus, come down. I'm gonna stay. Right? As I'm going to your house today. As I'm going to your house today. This is the story of Zacchaeus, right? If you don't know that, you're probably like the new version. Zacchaeus, but the little man. It's not the nursery rhyme anymore. But let's dive in and let's learn from the life and the story of Zacchaeus. His encounter with Jesus, how that encounter changed his life, and he lived. How did he live an extraordinary life? Luke 19, verses 1 to 10. This is the story of Zacchaeus. Jesus was passing through Jericho. So like what we remember that a couple of Sundays ago, we talked about the blind man named Bartimaeus. Jesus was passing through Jericho. In some gospel, it was said entering. In some gospel, he was like leaving Jericho, going to Jerusalem because in preparation for the Passover. But in this account of Luke, Jesus was passing through Jericho. And this is a continuation of event from the time that Jesus healed the blind man named Bartimaeus. And this story appears only once in the four Gospels, only in the Gospel of Luke. The story of Zacchaeus, you're going to find it in Matthew, Mark, and John, only in the Gospel of Luke. Now, Jericho. Jericho is a walled city, right? It is already one of the most modern cities during the time of Jesus. It is not the wall that broken during the time of Joshua. Remember the wall of Jericho that was crushed down or demolished when the Israelites marched and prayed for 7 times. And this is the new Jericho. And when Jesus was passing through Jericho, Jericho was one of the richest city during the time of Jesus, and it is northern part of Dead Sea. It is one of the major route for goods and other commodities. Right now, who is the one leading the taxations in Jericho? His name is actually Lazarus. A man named Zacchaeus was there in the city of Jericho. What he's doing there? Zacchaeus, actually the name Zacchaeus, the meaning of the name Zacchaeus is something interesting that I'll share it later. He was the director of tax collectors and he was rich. Zacchaeus was the head of tax collection agency or CRA or IRS in US, right? But in Jericho, he was the director, he was the superintendent, he was the chief tax collector. He has some people under him. He was a known personality during the time, but not really good personality because he was the corrupt tax collector. He was a rich man. Aside from the fact that he had a nice job, a good paying job, he is also extorting money from the people. He owns the franchise of tax collection in Jericho. All taxes that will come in and out of Jericho, it's Zacchaeus' responsibility. That's how rich he was. And like what I said, it is one of the best route for custom. What happened? The Spirit. Danny, you're playing there. This was one of the route that where you will have some goods and commodities and you have to pay when you pass Jericho. Dead Sea, some of the fish and all the goods there will pass by and then, hey, come on, pay me. Right? And more than what you're supposed to pay, Jericho, Zacchaeus earned more than he's supposed to earn. That's why many people in Jerusalem, or many of the Jews, hated Zacchaeus. The fact that he was a Jew, collecting, extorting money from the Jews, and then give it to the Roman government who conquered them, who oppressed them and dominated them during the time, they don't like Zacchaeus. It was funny because the name Zacchaeus means pure, innocent, clean, righteous. And that is a total contrast to the person itself. But there's something in him that we can learn. How to have an extraordinary when you encounter Jesus and start following Jesus. Let's continue with the story. Verse 3. He tried, and Zacchaeus, when Jesus was passing Jericho, there was a man named Zacchaeus. He was the head of tax collection, you can see. Then he tried his best to see Jesus, who Jesus was. Probably you heard about Zacchaeus, about Jesus already. Like what I shared with you, few kilometers away from Jericho, there's a city named Bethany. That's where Lazarus came from. And probably Zacchaeus already heard, oops, this is the Jesus who raised Lazarus back to life. And then all the wonders that he heard about Jesus, and then Zacchaeus did his best to see Jesus. But here's a problem. But Zacchaeus was a small man. He's a small man. Almost height of some kids. It's sometimes good to have those photos, right? And he couldn't see Jesus because of the crowd. So he has two obstacles between him and Jesus. He's small, and there's a huge crowd. People might step over him, or he can see. You know? Funny because the height of Zacchaeus is probably less than 5 feet during the time, right? But he tried to see Jesus. That is what I want you to notice here. In his inner desire, in himself, he heard about Jesus, and he believes that Jesus is someone who can help him with his emptiness, with the emptiness that he has in his life. He tried, and I believe, while he encountered all the obstacles, he was trying his best to see Jesus and know Jesus. And that is my first point. For us to live a life, an extraordinary life, and to experience to have an extraordinary experience with Jesus, is for us to have a sincere desire in our lives to see Jesus. We should try, and we should try our best to see Jesus. Zacchaeus was rich, but he realized he was missing something. He felt empty. And just like a lump of clay, he felt like dirty. His life was messy. He desires to see Jesus and feel that emptiness in him. He desires to see Jesus and find meaning and purpose in his life. Maybe that's you today. Maybe that's you at this very moment. You feel empty. And you're still looking for something that will find, but will feel that emptiness in you. Maybe you're someone like Zacchaeus who's still looking for meaning and purpose in life. Try to see Jesus. Seek him. Check him. Try to, some people, when they hear Jesus, same thing, Christianity, they would be negative and they would block and never consider Jesus again. I hate religion. If religion failed you before, Jesus will never fail you. Why not try Jesus? Zacchaeus. Judaism failed Zacchaeus. The religion failed Zacchaeus. But he was like, Jesus will never fail me. I want to try my best to see Him. The fact that you are here today is good start already. You want to seek Jesus. Keep seeking Jesus. Keep that desire in your heart to see Jesus. He will give you purpose and meaning in life. In the midst of difficulties and problems, keep trying to see Jesus. When Zacchaeus, because he was a small man, right? Despite of that obstacle, he tried his best. With all his physical limitations, he even dealt with the crowd that stood between him and Jesus. He did not allow it to be an hindrance for him to see Jesus, to check on Jesus. Look what Zacchaeus did. This is what he did. So Zacchaeus was small, and there's a crowd that stand between him and Jesus. So Zacchaeus ran ahead. No way. I would not allow this crowd to hinder my desire, my sincere desire to see Jesus. He ran ahead. So the crowd is coming, thousands of people. And then he ran and climbed a fig tree. What is his purpose? To see Jesus. He wants to see Jesus, who was coming that way. And it all started with that sincere desire. I am rich, but I am empty. I want to see Jesus. He was sincere in finding Jesus. Even though he encountered many hindrances, many difficulties along the way, the problems of being small, the problems of the crowd, he did not allow those things to stop him in seeing Jesus. He did his part. The rich little man was the head of the CRA in Jericho. And he ran ahead. With all those dust, he ran. Of course, he's small. His step is small, right? No. He could probably run as fast as he can. And all the dust. And then he climbed the tree. He was like, I am a rich man. I am known in the city of Jericho, but I don't care what people will say to me. I will run as fast as I can and climb that fig tree because I want to see Jesus. I don't care if I will fall in that fig tree because I want to see Jesus. I want to see and find how Jesus will give me an extraordinary life. How Jesus will give me purpose and meaning in life. I want to know Jesus. And that's my second point. Our second point is to have an extraordinary life. We should have a sincere heart. And at the same time, we should have an exceptional will. Life is not easy and it will never be easy. There will be barriers. There will be hindrances to our success, to the things that we want to do in the future. There will be obstacles. There will be obstruction between us and our relationship with Jesus. We will encounter more of that in life. There will be tests and problems that we're going to face. There will be physical limitations, health and sickness that we will going to face. But we should not allow that to hinder us in pursuing and seeing and knowing and finding Jesus. To survive, we have to have an exceptional will. I don't care what people will say. I don't care if I will be rejected along the way. I don't care. I want to see Jesus. I want to have an experience, an extraordinary life with Jesus. My point is, you do your part. But of course, I understand we can only do so much. Our willpower will not bring us that far. But the good news is, Jesus will meet us where our exceptional will ends. We have to do our part in seeking Jesus. But as we do our part, of course we'll get tired. Just like Lazarus. He ran the best as he could, climbed the fig tree, the sycamore tree. And then when he has no other options, Jesus met him. And Jesus reached on the spot. Like, okay, Jesus, Lazarus was there on the tree. He was like, honey, okay, I can't do anything now, Lord. I hope I can reach out to you, but people, they don't like me, that's why they don't want me. And I try to go to the crowd, they will push me because they don't like me. So Lord, I did my part. I run as fast as I could, and then now on the fig tree, I exhausted all of my options to see you. And I have nowhere to go. But that part, when Lazarus exhausted, Lazarus, maybe to say Lazarus, when Zacchaeus exhausted all his options, what is amazing is Jesus called his name. When Jesus reaches, he looked up and said, "Hey, Zacchaeus, come down immediately." Zacchaeus? Zacchaeus was like, "I'm just climbing in this tree." Zacchaeus, Jesus? Zacchaeus, you come down. I want to meet you. I want to know you. And what's interesting about these folks, as you try to seek Jesus, Jesus knows your name, the same as he knows the name of Zacchaeus. Jesus knows the desire of your heart, and he will meet you where your will ends. So when you say, "Lord, it's so hard to reach you, it's so hard to read the Bible because I don't understand. Lord, I'm so tired with this." And Jesus will meet you where your will ends. What's another amazing story here, amazing thing here, is that when Jesus told Zacchaeus, "Come down," Jesus said, "I must stay at your house today. I want to spend time with you, Zacchaeus. I want to dine with you. I want to know you more." And as you do your part with all your will to seek Jesus, and you get tired along the way, Jesus knows your name, Jesus knows your desire, and Jesus wants to spend time with you. With the sincerity of your heart and with the willingness of your will, Jesus will be there for you. Zacchaeus did his part. He tried to seek Jesus, but the truth is Jesus saw him. Actually, Jesus wanted to know him, and Jesus wanted to know you. Jesus wanted to spend time with you, just like he wants to spend time with Zacchaeus. Jesus wanted to help you, just like he wanted to spend time to help Zacchaeus. Jesus wants you to have an extraordinary life, just like what he wanted to Zacchaeus. And look what is the response of Zacchaeus. After this, so Zacchaeus came down quickly. "Oh, you call me, Jesus? You want to go to our place?" He came down quickly, at once. Probably he jumped, right? He jumped from the tree. Or fractured his, no, it's just a small thing, probably. And he welcomed Jesus joyfully. Zacchaeus didn't say, "Wait, Jesus." He came down to Jesus. "What do you mean that you will stay with me at our place?" No, Jesus. Maybe not today. I'm not ready yet. Maybe tomorrow. How about next week, Jesus? And you know what, Jesus? Our home is so messy. Kids' toys all over the place. Not today, Lord. Maybe tomorrow. Zacchaeus didn't say that. Zacchaeus didn't say, "Oh, you know what, Jesus? We don't have food to eat at home. Maybe look for other place na lang," right? Zacchaeus didn't say that. Or he could give some other excuses. And all other excuses were, "No, our house is so far. Don't go to our place." Zacchaeus didn't say that. Rather, he welcomed Jesus joyfully. He welcomed Jesus. "Are you coming to our place? Come on, I want to spend time with you." And my second to the last point is, I want, as we experience, to have an extraordinary experience with Jesus. Yes, sincere heart, exceptional will. We also need to have an enthusiastic heart. When Jesus calls you and wants to spend time with you, when Jesus met you where your will ends, be enthusiastic. Don't make excuses. Don't say, "Lord, not today. I still have to settle still have to have closure with my ex, my girlfriend, my boyfriend. Not today, Lord. I'm still so busy and my life's still messy and I still have to, make some adjustment and clean my life." Don't say that. Jesus met you and he wants to know you. He wants to help you along the way. Lord, I'm not yet ready to do what you want me to do. You know what? I still have dreams. I still have goals. I don't want to do what you want me to do yet for now. No, Zacchaeus didn't do that. He welcomed Jesus joyfully. When Jesus met you, when Jesus wants to reach you, when Jesus wants to know you, and spend time with you, when Jesus calls your attention, welcome Him joyfully. Follow Him right away. Be enthusiastic. And that will be the start of an extraordinary experience with Jesus. Now, it's not going to be perfect. There will be ups and downs. It's not going to be beds of roses in marriage. But look what happened. Look what happened to Zacchaeus. After he welcomed Jesus joyfully, he was so excited. Oh, Jesus, thank you. Oh, you cannot spend time with you. But the people, your friends, your best friends, your co-workers, your church mate, your life group mates, your ministry, other ministry volunteers, and now other people around you, your relatives, your loved ones, who saw this began to express disapproval. They criticized Jesus for spending time with Lazarus, the sinner. Oh, Jesus will join Lazarus, the sinner? So they criticized Jesus for his willingness to spend time with Lazarus. They also criticized Lazarus. Lazarus. What happened to Lazarus? I'm just testing you. Where am I? When they criticize Jesus because he wants to spend time with Zacchaeus, it's so hard as that, right? Zacchaeus, I was supposed to say Bartimaeus, Zacchaeus. And they also criticize Zacchaeus because he invited Jesus, or he spent time with Jesus. Right? You know what, in life, despite your desire to change for the good, people will judge you. It's like, not Lazarus, not Bartimaeus, Zacchaeus. In life, even how all your efforts to live a life that pleases the Lord, people will judge you. You know what? He will fail. You know what? He's just good in the beginning. He will fail. Change, commitment. It will last for 2 months, 3 months, and then you will go back. People will judge us. In life, even how excited you are in serving God in the ministry, people will judge you. We are so familiar with crowd mentality. People will disapprove, people will pull you down, people will blame you, will disappoint you, don't lose heart when these people come your way. Keep following Jesus. When people will disapprove your efforts, keep following Jesus. Keep seeking Jesus. Keep doing the things that Jesus wants you to do, despite the disapproval of people, despite the judgment that Zacchaeus received from these people. He did an extraordinary thing. This is what he did. Later, he can probably hear people around his house murmuring, but later that dinner, he stood up. Because he was small, right? Zacchaeus stood up. No, he stood up. He stood up and said to the Lord, Lord, thank you for spending time with me. Thank you for not judging me. Thank you for believing in me. Thank you for giving me another chance. Thank you because you didn't judge me right away. Thank you because you loved me and accepted me. Lord, I'll give the half of my property to the poor. And I'll pay 4 times as much as I owe to those I have cheated in any way. What an amazing commitment. This was their custom back then in the Old Testament. That, Lord, if you rob someone, if you take advantage of someone, if you violated someone, you have to pay back 20%. And Zacchaeus made it to the max, times 400%. I will pay back. And 50% of my property, I'll give it back to the poor. I share all my property. I mean, someone who made that decision really experienced an extraordinary thing with Jesus, right? You will not make a decision just like that. Just without a special encounter with Jesus. You made a decision because you had a special encounter with Jesus. This is what happened. Almost there. Indeed, no. First, did I delete that? Verse 9? No, verse 9? Something is going on. Verse 9 says there that then Jesus said to Zacchaeus, "You and your family have been saved today. You've shown that you too are one of Abraham's descendants." When Zacchaeus made the decision that I'll give the 50% to the poor, and I'll give the 50% of those people I violated, times 4, Jesus said, "You and your household," verse 9, "you and your household has been saved this very moment." It's shown that you are part of Abraham's descendant. It's shown that you are part of the family of God. That's where the life, the extraordinary life of Zacchaeus started. Zacchaeus and his household was saved through the grace, love, and acceptance of Jesus. Jesus brought back Zacchaeus to the family of God. You're part of Abraham's family. You are now the Jews, Israelites, the people of God. Jesus accepted Zacchaeus in spite of what he did in the past and gave him another chance. I'm so sorry for verse 9, but verse 10 says, "Indeed, the Son of Man," the title for the Messiah, the title, the Son of God, God Himself, Jesus, came to seek and to save people who are lost. This extraordinary experience of Zacchaeus happened because he sought Jesus. But more than that, Jesus actually sought him. Jesus came to seek Zacchaeus, to find Zacchaeus, to save Zacchaeus. And from there, Zacchaeus, from an empty life, he had now a life full of joy. From a miserable life, he now have a life full of love. From a meaningless life, he now have the life full of purpose and meaning. If you and I want to have an extraordinary life, we should seek Jesus. Can you lower the volume of the keyboard, please? If we want to have an extraordinary life, we should seek Jesus. I'm telling you folks, it will not be an easy journey. But against all odds, Zacchaeus overcome all difficulties, physical limitations, social hardship, judgment of people. He overcame all of those things and he had an extraordinary life. Do you know what happened to Zacchaeus after he encountered Jesus? According to a church tradition dated way back 22nd century, he became the bishop of Caesarea, succeeded by the Roman centurion named Cornelius. He served Jesus and his people, and he lived an extraordinary life after that personal encounter with Jesus. He lived an extraordinary life because of that extraordinary experience with Jesus. Life may not be easy, keep following Jesus, if we keep seeking Jesus, we'll surely have an extraordinary experience. So as we end this series, I showed you 4 of the many benefits in following Jesus. Don't you ever say that following Jesus is a senseless thing to do. Don't you ever say that following Jesus is a pointless thing to do. Following Jesus develops passion in you. It will give you direction and meaning in life. Following Jesus will have a purpose in your life. Following Jesus, you will experience healing in Him. Emotional healing, physical healing. In following Jesus will give you an extraordinary experience in life. So as we end this series, as I always do at the end of the series, I want to entrust to you the truths and principles we learn. This time, it's your turn to put it into action. Keep following Jesus against all odds. Keep following Jesus even in the midst of difficulties in life. You'll never